All right, welcome back. Welcome back. I was gonna do it live, but I'm in the mountain time zone. So I realized I said, man, it's gonna be 10 o'clock Eastern Standard, 9 o'clock Central Standard. So I said, you know what? I just do the live tomorrow. But I wanna do this video. I wanna talk a little bit about Jacolby George, right? I was listening to Football View the other day, and they were talking about Jacolby George's ceiling, right? Like he has like what is his ceiling? And Street said, ceiling? What ceiling? He doesn't have a ceiling. Jacolby George only started playing football in high school. I was like, what? So I'm like, well, maybe if I followed recruiting, I would have known that, but I didn't know that, right? So that's what makes what he did this year even that more impressive, because we're talking about a guy that he only played football for 7 years. There are guys who make it to high school who have already played football 7 years. And if they are gifted enough to make it to the next level, then they will play 14, 15, maybe 16 years of football, right? Jacolby George only has 7 years of experience. Now, obviously, freshman year, Charleston Rambo, Mike Harley show, Keyshawn Smith, Will Mallory, it's their party, right? So 2022, you get suspended for the first couple of games of the season. Some people say it was, I don't know, break your hand. So that puts you down right? And this particular offseason, you hear the rumbles, right, of individuals saying, oh, well, we're going to get this guy right here. We're going to get this guy right here in the portal. This guy right here and this guy right here. That, hey, we need to, the whole purge, when that was a cool saying. It seems like it's still cool now, but it is what it is. We need some receivers. We need some receivers. And I was always of the mindset like, look, let's see what the guys look like in an offense that's similar to the offense that you're comparing them to. Because what we saw in 2022, come on, bro. That's not a fair assessment of anybody. So, Jacolby George makes his presence felt. Texas A&M, 3 touchdowns, career game. That wasn't a fluke, right? Jacolby George is responsible for the 2 biggest pass plays of the entire year this year. Obviously, the go ball at Texas A&M, and then also the go ball against Florida State to bring us within 7 points, right? Both passes seem to kind of be in, I guess you would call it like maybe semi-double coverage. But the catch that he had against Florida State, man, this guy's in the NFL who can't make that catch. The concentration to see the ball into his hands, pause, and, make a move, and he's off to the races, right? And some guys have, maybe they've jokingly said it, but they're like, oh, man, he has some Devontae Smith. And obviously you want to say that because of the body type, right? But I'm thinking more like Michael Crabtree. Because like the catch that he had against North Carolina, and I was at that game. So I got to see the catch in person. When TVD threw the ball, I'm sitting here. And so I'm looking this way because they're going that way. And just to see Jacolby George just to running in breaking route, TVD to be late on the throw, for him to reach back, which in all actuality, it helped because it forced him to catch the ball and then just continue on in that motion to maybe get some extra yards. The yak yardage this year was crazy. Whether it was on the screen pass, whether it was on the long passes, whether it was on intermediate routes, whatever. The yak was crazy this year. Like, crazy. The touchdown pass that Emory threw him in the back corner of the end zone, beautiful throw by Emory. Just the man is not getting touched off the line of scrimmage. He's not getting touched. Reminds me so much of Stacey Coley in the sense that they make it look easy. Releases look easy. Running a route looks easy. Catching the football looks easy. Like there's no it looks like Jacolby George. There's nothing Jacolby George is doing on the field that looks difficult whatsoever. Like nothing. Like it doesn't like he's straining to do anything, whether it's blocking, whether it's running a route, obviously, catching the football, running a route. Nothing looks hard out there. Pause. To Jacolby George. And so, yeah. So, depending on what we do with the portal in terms of a quarterback, I see no reason why Jacolby George, if he continues at the trajectory that he's at, I don't see a reason why Jacolby George should not be in line for a bigger season next year. You know, I'm just thinking about a couple of passes, couple of plays and stuff. You know, maybe some missed touchdowns and stuff like that, which obviously stuff like that is going to happen. But I'm talking about plays in which he was targeted or could have been targeted. Jacolby George should have easily had 1,000 yards. Obviously, X should have had 1,000 yards. I think if X would have caught, if TVD would have threw the ball to X when he threw it back to the back, you know, back to the field to Brashard, I think that was 7 yards right there, 7, 8 yards. So you give him his game that he had at Boston College 1,000. But you know, we're here to talk about Jacolby George. But great game, man. Great season by Jacolby George. I know he felt a little slighted with the first team, you know, with the all ACC team. I think he got second team honors. But, you know, Keon Coleman was the chosen one, you know, so and not taking anything away from Keon Coleman, because I think Keon Coleman is an elite talent, right? I know I may be in the minority with that, but I think he's an elite talent. I really do. He makes things look easy. Even though they say he pushes off, but it is what it is. You know, I'm not here to big up a Florida State receiver, but he's talented. But in terms of the big three, Jacolby George should be the best big three receiver, or big four. I'm not gonna exclude you at UCF. Out of the big four, Jacolby George should be the receiver, the number one guy. So all I can say is stay healthy, stay humble, stay hungry, and Jacolby George, you can put together in a consecutively, right? Because we haven't had consecutive good seasons from receivers like that, because obviously AR had that good freshman year. Then he was plagued by injuries his sophomore year. Rambo obviously was only here 1 year. Allen Hurns had that one good year. Leonard Hankerson had that one good year. Philip Dorsett had that one big year. So Jacolby George, you were in position to, at least from a recent standpoint, you're in position to put together back-to-back minimum 800-yard seasons. Again, if we get this quarterback situation straightened out, and if we don't get too run heavy, right? So I don't see a reason why he shouldn't be able to get bare minimum another 800 yards next year. And work yourself up the draft. Obviously, that's going to be based on how he tests, and he can get faster next year, right? We've seen that. We saw Herb Waters. I believe when Herb Waters got here, I think Herb Waters was like running like a 4.7, 4.8 or something like that. And then by the time Herb left, Herb was down to a 4.4. So just looking at Jacolby George on film, and I don't like to do the laser stuff. I'm just talking about hand time. Jacolby George looks like maybe a 4.5 guy. And so for his height, weight, and stuff like that, Jacolby George is at least going to have to run from a laser standpoint. Now we get back to a laser from a combine standpoint. I think he's at least going to have to run a 4.43, 4.42. If he could get a 4.39 or something like that. But I don't know if he's like this. That's moving from a laser standpoint. So, but from a laser, 4.42, 4.45, maybe 4.46 laser. I think Jacolby George can make himself a lot of money. Should make a lot of money going into this last year, but it's a spit level. But he should make a lot of money when it is his turn to go to the next level. So, again, Jacolby George is my favorite football player on the team. And it's all about the you, baby. I'm out. Tune into the live tomorrow. I'm getting messy. I'm going to get messy.